HRAs, HSAs, FSAs, oh my. Yeah, that doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Hey guys, it's Victor, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about tools you can use to help finance a medical transition. Let's face it, medically transitioning is expensive, and we have to save up for it as though we're saving up for any other big purchase. For example, 1 year of testosterone is about equivalent to a Nintendo Switch. Top surgery is like a car, and bottom surgery is like a car. This video is specific to the US healthcare industry, and I'll mainly be talking about employer-related healthcare options. In this video, I'll be talking about the FSA, the HRA, and the HSA. So let's get right into it. The FSA is a flexible spending account. This is basically an account that comes directly out of your paycheck. It's set up through your employer usually, and you can contribute up to $2,650 to this account in a given year. Now, if you're married, then you can have $2,650 and your spouse can have $2,650. Now, this account is used to reimburse yourself for qualified healthcare expenses. The advantage to this account is that it goes into the FSA pre-tax, so you don't get taxed on the money that you use from the FSA. However, at the end of the year, if you haven't used everything that's in your FSA, you lose it. It doesn't roll over to the next year. Furthermore, if you leave your employer, you will also lose what was in your FSA. Since funds don't roll over in the FSA, you're really limited to that $2,650 in any given year. This means that it's maybe not the best option for covering larger expenses like top surgery or bottom surgery that might exceed $2,650. Next up is the HRA. This stands for Health Reimbursement Account or Health Reimbursement Arrangement. This is set up through your employer, and it's basically an arrangement where your employer will reimburse you for all of your healthcare expenses. Again, this is on a pre-tax basis. For a health reimbursement arrangement, there's no maximum to the amount that your employer can reimburse you in a given calendar year. Sometimes the funds will roll over to the next year, and sometimes they won't. It just depends on your employer. However, you're never allowed to keep the money that your employer has allocated to your health reimbursement account because the money was never yours to begin with. So if you leave your company, you wouldn't get to keep the money. The advantage of this account is basically that you don't get taxed on it because it wasn't really your money to begin with. The last option I'm going to talk about today is my favorite option. It's the HSA, or the Health Savings Account. An HSA is usually done through your employer and is basically a bank account that you own and you manage. In order to be eligible to have an HSA, you need to be enrolled in an HDHP, a high deductible health plan. Now, a high deductible health plan, as a side note, is basically a health plan with a deductible that is $1,350 or greater for single people and $2,700 or greater for families. Having a high deductible obviously means that your deductible is high, but it also means that your monthly insurance payment is usually much lower. Back to the HSA. The maximum contribution to an HSA is $3,550 for a single person or $7,100 for a family. Now here's the beauty of the HSA. It's your bank account, and this means that the money is yours. Sometimes your employer can put money into it for you, in which case it's free money, which is great, but at the end of the day, that money is still yours, and so you get to take it with you if you leave your employer. The money will roll over from year to year, so you can accumulate a large amount of money in that account. All of the dollars that go into your HSA are pre-tax dollars. Furthermore, when you take money out of your HSA, it's also not taxed. The HSA is a really, really fantastic investment tool for long-term health savings. For example, if you're 20 years old and you don't really have any substantial health or medical expenses, you could just put your $3,500 into that account every single year. You could invest some of that money and see it grow, and then when you're 60 years old and start having health problems, that money will have grown completely tax-free, and you can pull out that money to use for your healthcare expenses when you actually need it. Now, in the context of medical transition, I think the HSA is a really great option. It allows you to contribute to it year over year, and it's also your money that you get to keep. This means that even if you leave your employer, you still get to use that money on qualified medical expenses. Because the balance rolls over from year to year, you can accumulate more money in that account than you would be able to if you're using, for example, an FSA. This means that if you wanted to delay surgery for a couple of years, you could accumulate enough money in that account to fully cover the cost of your surgery. This way, all of the money going towards your medical procedures and surgeries is completely tax-free, which is saving you money. Now that we've talked about the HSA, the HRA, and the FSA, I just want to make a quick note here. These are all really helpful tools to help you save for medical procedures or surgeries or any kind of medical expenses. And they do save you money because in the end, they are saving you on taxes. And the less you pay in taxes, the more money you have in your pocket or in your health account. I would like to note that these are not the only options out there. These are very common options for employers to offer their employees. However, they're not the only options. If your employer offers any other kind of health-related options, I would highly recommend looking into that. If you're unemployed or your employer doesn't offer health coverage, there are a wide variety of other health coverage options out there. So do your research. These are just the most common ones. I'd like to make just a few quick notes on specifically medical transition and money. On the one hand, we as trans people have the benefit of being able to anticipate our medical expenses. In most cases, we can control and we can dictate when we pursue medical transition. When we choose to go on hormones, if we choose to go on hormones, when we choose to have surgeries, if we choose to have surgeries. And this is really, really helpful from a financial planning standpoint. Because of this, you're able to anticipate what your medical expenses might be and save appropriately now. This is different from someone who may accidentally break a bone while they're out skiing or have a very urgent, drastic medical procedure or surgery that they need like today or they're going to die. Those are more unanticipated, unexpected medical expenses, and those can really come to bite you if you're not prepared for them. On the other hand, we as trans people often do not want to wait for our medical transition if it's something that we know that we want and that we've decided on already. This can make the financial piece of it a little bit difficult because we want to be smart with our finances and be financially savvy and financially wise, but on the other hand, we don't want to delay the care and the treatment that we need. This can be where it gets a little bit tricky. For me, I've chosen to view my medical transition the same way that I would view any other major purchase. Even though I do experience a good amount of dysphoria, I've found a variety of coping mechanisms that are not ideal, but are good enough as I save for my goal. This way, I'm not going into debt and ruining my whole financial life just because I can't wait for a surgery. At the end of the day, we all have to do what's best for us. And really, only you know what's best for you, and only I know what's best for me. As with any financial related advice, I would always advise to know what you're getting into, to price shop, to save appropriately, and not go into debt for anything. However, I'm neither a financial advisor nor a medical professional, so you should do what's best for you and do what your doctors and your financial advisors are telling you. I hope that was helpful. Until next time.